Full-Time Reds podcast, episode 3. How are you feeling, gentlemen?
Good. Ten Hag was given more than enough time. He had 2 years plus the start of the season. He had a transfer veto, which means he could sign whoever he wanted. He basically handpicked. I mentioned this in the previous podcast as well, that he was handpicking his signings, and his signings haven't worked. And he hasn't improved players that were currently at the club. So Ten Hag has no complaints. He had to go.
It's a results business.
Yeah.
So if you're not performing and you're not getting results, then you're looking for the sack. There are some big characters that it's a mistake that we gave them contracts.
Name check them. Marcus Rashford needs to be booted out of the club.
Carabao, the mentality is weak. We had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
The celebrations, now
As if we won the league.
if we won a treble or we won the league.
Even with Ruben Amorim, if he comes in and thinks, I'm a good coach, I can fix it, I worry for them.
Just want to throw it in quickly. Who would it have been besides?
For me, it's quite obvious. Thomas Tuchel would be the guy I would have went for.
Ten Hag said Rashford is going to be a superstar, right? Ten Hag doesn't have a job. It's because of Rashford today.
Remember, Antonio Conte, like Mourinho, he sets the place alight. When things don't go well, he leaves a bonfire there and then whoever... So Chelsea was a mess.
Want to play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. Yeah.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Final words. I close it off. Oh, and also, here's our logo. We didn't give a round of applause to our logo. Full-Time Reds podcast, episode 3. How are you feeling, gentlemen?
Good. I think our mood is better than the last time.
Yeah.
Because the last time we had a thrashing from Liverpool. I know we had furthermore thrashings in different games. Tottenham gave us a spanking. We had the predictions that we had the last time, which were off. But anyway. Yeah. But much better than obviously new manager coming up. So we're happy.
We're happy. How are you feeling? What's your take?
I think it was inevitable to sack Ten Hag. So I think that's where we're going to start off with.
Yeah.
So I think, optimistic, but cautiously optimistic.
We can kick it off. For you, was Ten Hag given enough time? Do you think that... sorry? No. We're kicking off. Do you think he was given enough time, Ten Hag? Do you think... What happened? What is your opinions? What's your take?
Ten Hag was given more than enough time. He had 2 years plus the start of the season. He had a transfer veto, which means he could sign whoever he wanted. He basically handpicked. I mentioned this in the previous podcast as well, that he was handpicking his signings, and his signings haven't worked, and he hasn't improved players that were currently at the club. So Ten Hag has no complaints. He had to go.
Demande?
I agree. Ten Hag had to go. My prediction in episode 1, I said Ten Hag won't last November.
Yeah.
I said by November, this guy will be gone.
Yeah.
He's been losing games for fun. So it's not good for a manager to be sacked because that means we are failing, but he deserved the sack. His position was untenable. You can see these players were not playing for him. Their attitudes are terrible. Then these players will talk about the game that we just played now.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they're world beaters. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
So they're not going to fool us by making us think that the manager is the only problem at Manchester United, because it's not.
Okay, thank you. Because that was my leading question. Before I get to the leading question, you asked me a question and you said, how do I feel on our way here? How do I feel? What was my answer?
The question that I asked you, I was like, how do you feel generally with the new manager coming in? What's your overall feeling?
And what was my response?
And your response was...
Same old.
was not with great enthusiasm, but anyway.
So on that point, when you were saying, because I was going to ask the question, are we just blaming Ten Hag? And obviously I can kind of preempt what your answer would be, but is it really just on Ten Hag? What about the players? What about management? What is the overall picture outside of Ten Hag being
that led us to this position,
being the guy who's responsible to try and change things up, but for the fact that we're still in the same cycle of trying to replace managers, buying. We're still in the same cycle. Nothing has changed. What's your take?
So I think for me, the first 2 years, I think we spoke about Ten Hag's issue was he did not look at or speak to people that were there before. Rangnick was there. His knowledge of what had happened. Rangnick spoke about the open heart surgery, and Ten Hag didn't tap into that knowledge to say, okay, what's gone wrong here? Ten Hag came in, he thought, I'm a good coach, I can fix it. Even with Ruben Amorim, if he comes in and thinks, I'm a good coach, I can fix it, I worry for him. What you need to do is, okay, Man United have failed for 11 years. What are the causes?
How do you pronounce his name? Sorry.
Ruben Amorim.
Is it Amorim?
It's Amorim.
Yeah,
Amorim.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a Portuguese, but
Of
anyway,
course,
I cut you short.
twang
To it, and I'll say it in the next episode.
So I think with Ten Hag, that's where he went wrong. Even Ruben, the first thing he needs to do is, okay, what went wrong? Yes, some of the players that are there need to be kicked out. I think I'll name check them. Marcus Rashford needs to be booted out of the club.
Wow.
Because you look at what
We're still on Rashford.
Arteta did. Arteta wouldn't be able to build if Ozil and Aubameyang was there. You need to be there, find out what's wrong. They're inconsistent players, boot them out and build your own team. That's what it needs to do.
But the thing is, we've had players that come in and out who fail. Martial, Sancho, the list is Pogba, Sanchez.
But because
I hear
the recruitment was not spot on. So what
So are you
has
telling
changed
me
now?
all these
But what
players
has
that
changed
could sign?
now is that we have a sporting director as well as I think we have a recruitment head or something.
Who's our
like that.
sporting
Head of
director?
The head of recruitment, which is
Sporting director is Dan Ashworth.
and then the head of recruitment
Head
is
of recruitment
Christopher
is
Valdel.
and then who's the one for the one that came from
Technical-
Southampton?
Jason Wilcox.
Jason Wilcox.
Yeah.
But I hear what Sidley's saying. There's a better structural recruitment team versus the past, right? But even the signings we've made, they are yet to be seen because I spoke about Xerxes in the last episode. I'm not having him. But also, just to tap on the question you asked, yes, the players.
You're not
we
even
know.
giving Xerxes time.
point
You're
now.
not having
Exactly. And unfortunately for Xerxes, he doesn't have time to adjust because these guys, we don't have a proper number 9. Because Højlund is supposed to be the proper number 9. You've got Xerxes who's supposed to assist Højlund in scoring the goals, which he's just not up
and he's
for it.
playing more like a false 9.
but
He's not
also,
even playing.
He's not
my worry, guys.
It's not as like a traditional
Guys,
number
my
nine.
worry for him is he doesn't seem like he's up to speed physically with the Premier League, and for me that's a concern.
Mentally as well.
Because Sitler said to me during the we were doing a watch along, we were like, he looks top heavy. Right, and I said to
More
him,
like how Lukaku was at
we
the
had
end
top
of
heavy
United,
players
yeah.
who could succeed at United. I mean, Rooney was not the thin of guys.
Are you saying-
but Rooney had the stamina, he had the determination, the work ethic, the drive. But with Xerxes, he's lacking quality. He can't finish chances, and on top of that, he's a very clumsy footballer. From what I'm seeing, it's early days. We'll still have to
More
see.
like Lukaku, like
Yeah, very clumsy.
But we can call it earlier because I mean there are already a lot of players in other clubs that already have hit the ground running. The striker at Chelsea, the
Nicholas Jackson, but that's his second year. So
his
it's
second.
different.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. But
Second.
there's people are just hitting the ground running. Whether it's your second, that they just with and there are players that will. Darwin Núñez, who I think even at Liverpool, I think Arne Slot. I'm not saying his stats are great or anything, but I'm just saying that people have hit the ground right now. You know, being 14th on the log. This is, I don't want to labor on the point, but Xerxes, whether we give him time or not, I don't. Honestly speaking, I don't see him. But anyway, let's move on. Next part is past 3 games that has led to. Can we just quickly run through that? The past 3 games that Ten Hag, the reason that led to the reason why he was sacked. I think it's quite straightforward as to why he was sacked, but just leading into his results, his performances, his style of play, all those things.
I think. Look, it's a results business.
Yeah.
So if you're not performing and you're not getting results, then you're looking for the sack. But I think what exacerbated the situation is him losing home games.
Yeah.
So you're not only losing home games, but you're losing home games convincingly.
And against teams you should be winning.
I
as well.
spoke fine. To be fair, Liverpool obviously is never an easy game.
Yeah.
But for Liverpool not to even be at their best, but to dismantle us the way they did, I mean, that was cause for concern. Then you've got Tottenham coming as well. Tottenham also are very inconsistent. They can win against United, win against Man City like they did, but they will lose their very next game.
Yeah.
They're not the most consistent. Defensively, they're fragile, but they go to Old Trafford. don't perform
Convincing.
spectacularly, but they make us look ordinary.
Fenerbahce,
So then
West
you've got
Ham.
Fenerbahce, which was a draw. West Ham, which we lost, to be fair, which we were not supposed to lose.
FC Porto,
that was the better game. The last one we played against West Ham was the better game, but the damage was already done.
Brentford scraped through 2-1 win.
Brentford was a scrape through, but overall, I just think he built himself his grave. He was a walking dead man. He stood no chance.
Okay, before I make this point, Sihle, what's your point? What's your take on it?
I think for me, the results are the obvious, reason why Ten Hag is sacked. But look at how he spoke. I think that's also another angle. How you speak and how you come across in these press conferences. I think your CEOs, your superiors listen to how you speak. And Ten Hag was making no sense. Just one point. On the Fenerbahce game, he starts Mazraoui as a number 10. Pep Guardiola, if he started Kyle Walker as a right back, it's fine because he's winning Premier Leagues. If you are 14th, you're struggling, you can't do things like that. He was saying Porto was a good result. Fenerbahce is a good draw. I mean, are we West Ham or what?
Sure.
We are Man United. So I think for me, when his bosses were hearing how he was speaking, they were like, this is not the guy for us.
I think
so it's more than just results. It's how he also came across. I think he lacked charisma as well. To be a Man United manager, you need to be inspiring. I think he wasn't inspiring. So I think they looked at him and said, even if he's a good coach, he doesn't have that charisma that of a Mourinho or a Klopp to lead Man United.
On that point, your lineup of coaches, which I just want to throw it in quickly, who would it have been besides?
For me, it's quite obvious. Thomas Tuchel would be the guy I would have went for. I think in terms of charisma,
think you're making that decision based on circumstances and not based on Thomas Tuchel.
Thomas Tuchel is a top manager. Thomas Tuchel went to Chelsea when Chelsea were in the mud after Antonio Conte left. Yeah. Remember, Antonio Conte, like Mourinho, he sets the place alight. When things don't go well, he leaves a bonfire there and then whoever needs it. So Chelsea was a mess. He came in, he didn't spend a lot of money. I think it was after Lampard, not Conte, after Lampard. So what he did, he built a team 3-4-3, much like Ruben Amorim's system. He won the Champions League against Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
So I think Thomas Tuchel would have been my first option, but I'm happy with Ruben Amorim.
Okay, and then who would have been?
So obviously we need to be realistic. It's easy for us to. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel was a realistic option for us.
Yeah.
But when I think about people were saying Carlo Ancelotti, I mean, that's a good decision. That's good, but it's unrealistic. He's happy at Real Madrid. Real Madrid are doing well, so there's no chance. So with me, I'll be lying if I said I had a clear favorite for someone that I believe could have taken the job, because I'm not a Pochettino fan. I'm not. So Thomas Tuchel was the one that, maybe Nagelsmann. So I was going to say Nagelsmann, the national coach of Germany. So I was going to take Nagelsmann. I think that would be my pick.
No, that's a good option.
Just like Sita said, I'm happy with Amorim, but it's not just about changing the manager. The Ineos speaks about changing the culture of the football club. What I want to see is, as Sita said, there are some big characters that it's a mistake that we gave them contracts. He says, let's get rid of Rashford.
An example with Rashford.
Rashford and Bruno. I thought I would have gotten rid of both of them. And let me tell you why. Because they are in charge of that dressing room.
I disagree.
Because these guys, these guys are making posts when the manager is sacked. Oh, we're going to miss working with you.
But
like, what were you doing during the games?
I disagree.
No.
I disagree.
Okay, just on that, with Rashford, right? He's been, how many clean slates has he been given by coaches, right? Mourinho came, it's a new start for Rashford. Ole comes, he's out of starts now. He's out of new slates. He hasn't performed. He hasn't been consistent. He has to be moved on. If Amorim comes in and says, hey, everyone, you have a clean slate, it's a fresh start, he's going to fail. It's
going to be sacked. And no, and let me
give players second chances.
But let me tell you where my point is coming from, right? All the managers, Ten Hag said Rashford is going to be a superstar, right? Ten Hag doesn't have a job is because of Rashford today. And I'm going to say that because if you're putting trust on Rashford, right, then he scores you 3 Premier League goals the whole of last season, for example. You're going to lose your job. Because when you look at the current Man United squad, who can score goals?
You got a Højlund who's also not performing.
No.
You got a lot of players.
Yeah, you're right.
Can I just make this point on them? I understand they haven't been performing. They're guys that we expect results from. But Ten Hag himself has been a guy who's been unstable as a coach. One moment we're changing centre backs. There is no. Tell me what his clear style of play. There's been lack of consistency from him as a coach. Those things play a role. It's frustrating. One
agree,
moment I'm playing as a false nine. One moment
something.
I'm playing as a striker. Then one moment. Let's be honest.
You're playing square pegs and round holes.
I'm not defending
But all
him.
I'm saying is, people like Rashford, right? The reason why, and I even explained myself that I'm not targeting him. But my frustration with him is that this guy has been a Man United player since 2015. We're coming to 2025. And in the 10 years, can I say, in the 9 years you've been a Man United player, are you a Man United legend?
How
Not
many
even
good
close.
seasons has he had?
I cut him slack,
Not even
guys.
close. He's only had 1-2 good seasons.
No, I cut him slack, and let me tell you why I also cut him slack, because he's playing for an unstable club. And I'm not defending.
Bruno came, he was amazing, and then he caught on with this cold that these guys have. He caught on with the sickness, with the virus Mourinho was talking about.
Yes, because there's just been so many changes. A lot of players have been failing under United, and that's for me.
But a part of them is the same players.
Just to close
I want
it off,
the players that are failing. Yes, to be also be removed. So also, I'm saying you're right. There's been a lot of inconsistencies in the managers and all this reshuffling. But I just think the players also have to go. I don't want to see in 2026, I've got players who were here from 2015. That's unacceptable.
But true.
That is unacceptable.
And that's a club thing. And that's what I'm talking about.
But that's the Ineos.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying.
You can't have guys for 10 years. Luke Shaw, why is he here?
Exactly. So
why is he here? Victor Lindelof since 2017, why is he here?
And I feel you're making my point even more, because as a player, I need to build chemistry. There's a style of play. I need to build a proper relationship with my teammates. And that's why I'm saying, guys, yes, you've been shocking. Cristiano Ronaldo under Ten Hag apparently was a virus. Sancho was a virus. You know what I'm saying?
But he is.
I'm not defending him, but I'm just saying that there's been a pattern of, besides Ten Hag, who's been given a lot of time. And by the way, Ten Hag being sacked right now, let's be honest, it's been a long time coming.
Yes, from last season.
He was supposed to be sacked last season or 3 games for. But he was just been given time. Why? Because we wanted to. Besides winning trophies,
because if he didn't win the FA Cup, they would have sacked him. Let's be real. Because
now it was more sentimental.
It's more sentimental. He should have. If Ineos had a pair, they should have said at the start of this season, Ten Hag, thanks mate for the trophy. But last season you finished 8th, unacceptable.
Yeah, but Van Gaal won the FA Cup.
And but he didn't finish 8th.
On the same day.
And he got sacked on the same day. Yes, he won the FA Cup and he got sacked.
Mourinho won you a Europa Cup and a Community Shield and a few.
But Mourinho, with his own admission, when you play Fenerbahce.
Okay, let's just stay on track, right? Because I think we're still on Ten Hag. But just to close it off, we've got to see stability from the manager. We can't have this thing of we're having a different back four. Injuries into consideration. He has to know how he's going to use his tools, these players that he has at this point in time. And that's why I'm saying I cut some slack for players like Abo Rashford, Abo Bruno. There's just been too much changes and it gets exhausting. It does get exhausting. And then you have to deal with player politics. There's none of that. And that's why I think Chelsea now are hitting the ground running. They've cleaned out the whole day politics. They're like, guys, let's just play football. Liverpool, that's why Arne Slot, you've got to have a conducive environment that's based on football. My last point as well with our recent match, Carabao, the mentality is weak. We had a conversation about it. Yeah. The celebrations, now as if we won a treble or we won the league. Yeah. Our mentality is yes, I do understand you want to revive the spirit.
We're 14th on the table.
We're 14th on the log. What's the Carabao Cup? There's nothing to smile about. When and it's expected. Yeah. You're playing against Leicester.
Yeah. And Leicester that took out a team that's depleted.
It's depleted.
It's not the proper. It's a different Leicester we're going to face in the league.
So before we go on to our predictions, that's just what I wanted to close it off. I would like to move on to our new manager in terms of his style of play. What is his history? What is his credentials? Where does he come from? And then those are the things I want to touch on. And then upcoming games as well. What do we expect from him?
I think so. Ruben Amorim comes from, he first started his coaching at Braga. Yeah. And people will not know that he actually did his internship at Man United with Mourinho.
Oh,
when Mourinho
okay.
was there.
Oh, that hence
Yeah.
this because
So
I'm
there was
saying
an
the
image of
new
him,
Mourinho, the
yeah,
new
no,
Mourinho,
so he
and
did
he was
his-
even like, "I'm not the new Mourinho.
Yeah.
There will only
So-
be one Mourinho."
So actually, Mourinho is his idol.
Okay.
So that's why he did his internship at Man United. And actually, that's where he got an affinity with Man United because he had approaches from Liverpool, West Ham, I think Chelsea in the past
to
as well
replace
for last season. But he came out and said he only wanted United. So I think he spent 2 months at Braga.
Okay.
And after he left Braga, Sporting actually paid 10 million euros for
get him
him
out of
to
his
leave
contract.
Braga because he only started at Braga. So he's actually, I think, the 5th highest or most expensive manager.
Okay.
Because I think you
The
get
total transfer
you
that
get
they've paid
Jurgen
for.
Nagelsmann, but he's part of that as well. So when he came to Sporting, they hadn't won a league in 19 years. So he's delivered 2 league titles in a row.
Okay.
And he's currently nine games
9 games
unbeaten.
out of 9. Yeah.
So he's doing well. He's doing very well, but obviously he's going to a different level.
It's a different
So we'll
animal.
need to see how
Not
he-
even a
he
level. It's
adjusts to
another
that.
animal that he's going into.
And but I think for me is players this time need to be held accountable if this guy fails.
Because I know I was putting you guys' leg and I said on our group and I was like, another 10 hug. And you guys were like,
No. You know, that's a
Because we spoke about Ten Hag the same way.
Because
that-
what I'm
people spoke
saying.
about Ten Hag.
But that's why players
good
need
at
to be
Ajax.
held accountable this time. Because what I want is when a manager is sacked or things don't go well, the CEO comes in, he holds a meeting with the players, and he gives them a rollicking to say, we've sacked another manager because you are not performing. And I don't think that happens. I think they are just told, oh, Ten Hag is relieved of his duties and life goes on. No, these guys need
There's
to
no
be told.
consequences for the
I
players.
think Parada at City used to say, if a player doesn't perform for 18 months, he has to be sold. So someone
was
like
that?
Anthony, Omar
Omar
Parada,
Parada, our CEO.
Our
Okay.
CEO now. So someone like Anthony, he's done. It doesn't matter what he
he's
does
done.
now till the end of the season.
He's
he has
not
to be
performing
sold.
for years.
Yeah.
So there's no time.
So there's
Mount has to go. It's 2 years in. He has scored 1 goal. He's made
so
players
there's now consequential management.
yeah. So
There's
now
consequences
players
now.
will
Yeah.
be sold. I think that's what I like about what Parada said.
Okay.
Is that in 18 months, if you don't perform, you're gone.
Okay.
That's all we need
So
to do.
I just feel, look, it's a good choice. We want a young upcoming manager who's got potential and not going for
How old is
someone
it?
who's washed up. He's 39.
Okay.
So I
I
think
think he's
it's
the youngest manager we've ever
So I
had.
think it's a very shrewd appointment, but I want him to be back to the same like Ten Hag. Ten Hag spent excess of 600
But
million
we
pounds.
don't have that money now. We're broke.
But my point is, I want him to also have his own players.
Yeah.
Because Ten Hag had his own players. And you know, we talked about why Ten Hag failed. Ten Hag failed because he bought players that never worked. Unfortunately, when you make signings, your signings need to work.
Okay, let's close off Ten Hag. I feel Ten Hag at some point realized, you know what, this is not working anymore. If we're being honest, this maybe it sounds far-fetched, and that's okay. I stand on the correction, but it's just my opinion. I feel at some point he felt, you know what, he was just holding on, and it was just a ticking time bomb, and he was just waiting for the sacking. You know, players that he signed, like you guys, weren't working anymore. What is your take on that? Then we move on to the new manager.
No, so you're right. Ten Hag wasn't working, and you're right. There's elements that I felt like he was giving up. So he was playing what we call survival football. So you're not tactics, but style of play, all the fancy things, that's out of the window.
Yeah.
Now you're taking it game by game and you're trying to get results.
Yeah.
And if you're going with that mentality and you're a Manchester United manager, you won't survive.
Yeah.
Because now you're playing because you're scared. And you saw him, Eriksen is now the star of the team all of a sudden. Now you're playing it safe. You're not allowing yourself to explore your imagination as a manager. You're not utilizing that, but you're now relying on getting the team that just gets you or scrapes you the results. And you're not building your team over the season. So yeah, you're right. He was waiting for the second. He's got 14 million or whatever amounts of millions that he got. So he doesn't complain.
Sihle, on that, anything? Or can I move on to the new manager?
Yeah, I think we can move on to the new managers.
Yeah.
Okay. So so Ruben Amorim, we're getting a manager that is young, dynamic, and he started off at Braga as I think he coached there 2 months, and then he went over to Sporting. He got a buyout clause that he was bought. He did an internship with Mourinho at Man United, and then he's won 2 Sporting league
Portuguese
titles
leagues.
in the first time in 19-20 years. So
Please bring your mic closer.
so he's
I don't know.
doing. Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. So he did an amazing job at Sporting. So I think he'll hopefully be a success at United.
Hopefully, we're holding on to dear life, you know.
So look,
what's your take on the new manager? What is the expectation?
Look, I think he's the best manager we could have gotten, because if Thomas Tuchel is the ideal choice for the majority of Manchester United fans, I think he's the best option we have. But succeeding at United is not just you being a good coach. There's a combination of things. And I feel there's some players who were there for too long. If for me, you were there since Jose Mourinho, that's problematic. Jose Mourinho managed Man United from 2016 till 2018-19. So for me, if you're still there, why are you there?
Evans, he was under Sir Alex.
Why are you there? Why? And Guardiola knows when to sell players.
Yeah.
He's got good players. João Cancelo doesn't play for Man United anymore.
Yeah.
Man City.
Yeah.
He doesn't play for Man City anymore. There's another player who doesn't play for them anymore. Laporte doesn't play for them. Sterling doesn't play. He doesn't keep players over the time. Once you are stale, that's it. So I feel like United has a sentimentality of feeling like they owe these players something that they don't.
Can we park that one? Can we move on? Last one, maybe what I would like to add on is, what do we expect from him? If we had to ask for top 4, is that fair?
I think it's fair because we're only 7 points of Chelsea, who we are playing obviously tomorrow.
Don't you think it's a big ask?
No, it's not a big ask. I think the team is better than what the results have shown.
Okay.
So if you look at who's...
we better than...
Yeah, not 14th. What I'm saying is we shouldn't be 14th. We should be competing for top 4.
No, I disagree. Our team on paper... team on paper... Isitla's right. Our team on paper should be doing better than 14th. But in terms of performances, we deserve to be 14th. So I'm not under the illusion that we are 14th by accident and we've been unlucky all the time. Yes, we shouldn't have lost to West Ham.
In terms of quality of the team, we shouldn't be 14th.
But in terms of the performances, we deserve to be 14th.
I don't see top 4, and even if we do get top
4 is possible, because 7 points is not a lot at this stage of the season. So if he makes top 4,
Chelsea tomorrow.
If he makes top 4, this guy, amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
If he does,
for me, top 8.
No, I think
just get us into Europa League. Get us into Europa League again.
United,
he's starting again.
No, but United can't afford to miss out on European football, financially speaking.
I know that, but I'm saying if we're being realistic, you know, okay, we're wrapping up. I think top 4 is a big ask.
It's possible.
It's achievable. But for me, if he doesn't get it,
it's okay.
It's okay. Look. The season is already
you cut your losses.
Look, we're not delusional.
Yeah.
The season is already messed up, but we haven't played a lot of games.
Of the season left.
Yeah, so there's still a lot. So things can change, but I just feel like there has to be a rude awakening with the players.
Yeah.
I just feel like, yes, any manager can come in there. I mean, even Guardiola himself can't save Man United. So this guy would do well to finish top 4. That would be amazing. But I think we still have a lot of work to do. And also, let's see how he works with these players, because I'm very interested to see how he fits,
especially
his
with
philosophy,
the system, 3-4-3.
with the players we have. I think the players can play the system that he wants to play, because United has never played with the back 3. So that's going to be interesting to see.
It will be interesting.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And if it doesn't work, it will be interesting how we can bounce back and figure out. We're wrapping up. What I want to wrap up with is Ruud van Nistelrooy as interim manager. What's his job? What's his expectation? When is our new manager going to start, doing his job and coming into place? But what do we expect from Ruud van Nistelrooy? What's his objective?
Ruud van Nistelrooy only has 4 games. I think 4 games to play, including the Chelsea one. So his job is just really to steady the ship, as they call it.
Yeah.
But the new manager, Amorim, is coming on the 11th of November, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 11th. Yeah.
So he'll be there very soon. It's just a matter of time.
Basically,
but I think it's good. It's good that there's a cushioning period between Ten Hag and not boom, there's a new manager coming in and things are changing. So I think it's a blessing in disguise that we have Ruud.
Is he going to come after the international break?
After the international break, yeah.
All right.
So
I think that's fair.
He just needs to fulfill a few fixtures. They have City in the Champions League, Sporting next week.
Yeah.
So he has to play that fixture and play Sporting's last fixture next weekend.
Yeah.
And then he departs.
Chelsea prediction, then we close it.
I think we're going to win the game 2-0.
I would say 3-2.
We're winning 3-2.
Yeah, but I think we're winning. We're beating Chelsea.
I think this whole Leicester winning I want to see it. Yes, the motivation is there. The excitement is there. But I see a draw. I think Chelsea is a home game.
Home game. And I think Chelsea don't play. They are very open. I think they are open, but you look at City game. It's going to go either way.
I see a draw. That's my prediction. But hey, we'll see. Full Time Rates Podcast episode 3. It's been a rocky one today, but we missed this. We missed the setting. A lot to speak about. We love the comments on social media. We still need to grow on YouTube. So yeah, we'll get there. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Final words. I close it off. Oh, and also here's our logo. We didn't give a round of applause to our logo. Great it says Zamazama, but I think we with a lot of conversation and speaking with the gents, maybe we can make it a bit fuller on the screen. But yeah, thank you. We close it off. It was a quick one today, but we'll see you on episode 4.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Cheers.